Haulers are coming back in a big way in 2025. And you might be thinking, well, Mr. Docket, they haven't gone anywhere. Mattel has still been releasing haulers every year. And my response to that would be, yeah, but the line is a shell of what it used to be. Not just in 2009 and 10 when they were giving us 10 plus new haulers a year, but also in 2017 and 18 after Cars 3 when we got some really nice haulers from that movie. But since then, the line has fizzled out to the point where we're recycling the same 3 to 5 haulers every year. We always get some version of Mack. Last year was Cars 2, which was kind of nice. Now we're back to Cars 1. We always get Jackson Storm's hauler. They gave us Cruz Ramirez's hauler last year, which doesn't even appear in the movie, let alone any media. And if we're lucky, Speedy Comets or Bobby Swift's hauler thrown in there as well. It's really pathetic in my opinion, but this year things are seemingly changing with the confirmed leaks of Gil and Chet Boxcar, with likely more on the horizon as well. Now, Gil, he was a peg warmer back in the day, let me tell you guys, but after that, he has become one of the rarest haulers out there, and Chet Boxcar even surpasses his rarity because he was released with Paul Valdez and Ben Krankelshaft and Oliver Lightlow, 4 haulers, truck stop haulers, that got absolutely shafted in terms of distribution. They were so incredibly rare in 2010 because they were at the tail end of the Cars Final Lap collection before Mattel launched into Cars 2. They did do Gil and Chet as just semis exclusive to Toys R Us Classics line in, I believe, 2016, 2017. But really, I mean, the whole hauler, it will run you $100 to $200 to get that, especially for Chet. So it's a humongous deal that they're coming back. I'm really excited for that. I think the line this year is getting off to a good, just strong start with Cars 1 Mack. I mean, if we're going back to the roots, this is what you do. We haven't gotten Cars 1 Mack in a while. And if it was any normal year, it'd be like, yeah, fine, like, we'll take it. But now we know some more really good stuff is coming. It kind of sets it up nice. It's a good, just like, appetizer. And so we're going to review them today. It's the Vietnam variant of Mack here, Mack Hauler as they call them. Just kind of a nostalgic video, just like I did with the regular McQueen review a couple weeks ago. You know, did I necessarily want to do this video today? No, I wanted to unbox 2025 singles case Q, but it's lost in the mail. Thanks USPS for that. Also, I've been to like 7 stores and they all have remnants of case Q. I have yet to find Mater with Sign or My Name Is Not Chuck. So that's where we stand with that. Let's dive in here. I have been able to find this guy actually. This is kind of surprising. I really wasn't expecting to find such a new hauler so soon. I feel like only a few people have really reported of finding this here so far, but I will gladly take it. I only saw one at the store. Box is a little beat up. So you know what that tells me? Open it, Mr. Docket, and do a video on it. It is kind of weird though. You got Cars 3 Lightning McQueen on the box though. Just a little off-putting when it's the Cars 1 version of Mack. Looking good in there though. And on the back here, Mack hauler. You got the Cars 1 stock image. You got Cars 1 Lightning McQueen. At least they got that right. Vehicle sold separately. Made in Vietnam. I don't think they've done any haulers from Thailand. Yeah, I don't think they have because they wouldn't go Vietnam, Thailand, and then back to Vietnam. The haulers line is one of the few lines that remains from Vietnam because even some of the Expand Universe stuff like the Glow Racers have converted over to Thailand when like the XRS stuff, that used to be Vietnam, you know. So there have been a couple changes, but the haulers have remained Vietnam ever since 2018 or so, 2019 or so. So yeah, let's bust this guy open. I'm really excited to take a look. Wow, opening up a Cars 1 Mack was way more nostalgic than I thought it would be. I mean, like, really, I'm serious, guys. It was a little emotional there. I mean, last time I opened up a Mack was like 2017 with Cars 3 Mack and the Jocko Flacco Mack. This really felt special, and especially seeing the white cap That is so indicative of a Cars 1 Mack. Like, that is really the most nostalgic part. And maybe because it's just the easy indicator, instead of looking at the decals on the trailer, but, Cars 2 Mack looks as such here, and Cars 3 Mack doesn't even have anything behind the Rust-eze logo, so it's very easy to tell. You see the white up there, that is Cars 1 Mack, and it just has something about it. It has some sort of just innate instinct that it awakens in me. I don't know, it might sound weird, but anywho, there is Mr. Mack in Cars 1. As if I even need to show you guys anything to begin with. I think we all know what Mack looks like. We all know where Mack appears, but it's a part of our procedure here. I won't last long on that. Let's begin here with the semi-cabin, because this is a country versus country comparison. Let's go ahead and get the Chinese version of Mack. And yeah, let's run this comparison. Let's get a little bit of an idea for context, though, and take a look at the date stamp on Cars 1 Mack. So 3559. This was produced on the 355th day of 2009. So this is, a 2010 release of Mack. Actually, you know what? Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure, right? You know what? Maybe. There's no way this is 2019. There's no way. No, because then it would have been Vietnam. Yeah, it's 2009. I don't know why I thought. I mean, I will say, for being so old, he looks very pristine. I've kept this Mack in phenomenal condition. But, all right, anyways, now that we got that figured out, the date stamp on this guy is up here, the 226th day of 2024. So both made later in the year, but 15 years apart. Pretty crazy. So right off the bat there, you can see the eyeliner is a lot thicker on Mack. And I like that. I think it brings him to life a little bit more. I've said this about expressions a lot, where you add that depth, that shadow. It just makes it look a little less flat, looks a little bit more animated, which is what we're going for, right? These are animated characters. Now, surprisingly, I mean, Thailand usually does the opposite of this. They take silver and make it more gray. Here, they took the gray grill and made it a little bit more silvery. Like, I think that looks really good. It pops a little bit more. You do have the mouth plate at the bottom there, which is not great because it's a much darker shade of red than the light red that we're working with on the die-cast. But, I mean, as you can see, that was a problem before, so it's just kind of a net zero. You got the Mack text there on his nose, essentially. You got the silver side view mirrors. Those look very similar. Silver smokestacks and the silver steps down here. I think the wheels look a little bit more silvery than they used to. Let's take a look at the Rust-eze logos there, actually, though, on the hood. I think that's or on the roof, or the cap. It's a very important element to this. I think it's a little bit brighter here on the Chinese version. It's a more pure white, or a purer white. I will confirm that. It's a little bit more of a beige, creamy white on the Vietnam version. Yeah, so I think this looks a little bit better, but I know it's not like a perfect white in the movie either. And we've even seen this with other versions of Mack. Like, here's the pit crew member Mack from China. It's even more of a tanny, creamy version up there, whereas the Vietnam version, it doesn't even go that far. So they've been a little inconsistent with that, so I don't think that's really that big of a deal. Now taking a look here at the logos on the side. 95, a little bolt. Looking pretty good, very similar. See, when we do these Vietnam reviews, Vietnam, I think, does a much better job with the decals. Most of the time, I think they had one bad, like, Radiator Springs McQueen or something like that. They screwed up McQueen badly. It's like, what the hell were they thinking? But other than that, like, I know Chick Hicks, the King, all look really good. It's Thailand that screws up the decals. Vietnam has more of a trouble, I think, with expressions, but obviously, I think they did a pretty good job here with Mack. I will say, though, it's interesting. You could see this, like, little... Let me get out a little pointer here. See this, like, almost crack here? You could see, like, a line. Yeah, right there. Going up the hood and curling over. And you can see, like, a little crack there as well, where it's like the paint didn't fully mesh. Like it's almost like two things are conjoined and like welded together, but it was a little imperfect and kind of creates like a nipple there. See what I'm talking about? Like right there, right where the purple Sharpie is pointed toward. And it's almost like a scar, you know, it's kind of strange. And yeah, I don't love that there, but you can see that there is an element of that even on the Chinese version here. Again, you can kind of see that line, follow the line a little bit, and it eventually fades away, but you can see it there on the hood as well. Right there. So it's just kind of interesting that Mack has that. I don't know how that happens. Must be just some byproduct and some symptom of how they do the mold, do the casting. But yeah, I mean, it does show a little bit more in the Vietnam version with that nipple up on his left side there. Anyways, enough talk about the bad stuff. I think this is going to be a win. I think this Mack is going to be really good. So we got the Vietnam version here on the right. Rusteze 3 license plate, very clear. The Rusteze logos on the mud flaps, I think, are a little like darker. The colors seem to be dulled a bit. I don't know why they did that. Yeah, I mean, this just looks more crisp. Like that's a golden yellow. This is just more of a honey mustard yellow, I would say. Both look very similar from that standpoint there with the latches. And yeah, everything looks pretty standard here in the back besides the mud flaps. Good stuff. I would have preferred like if they changed up the expression a little bit more. Like I really do like the Pick Remember Mack expression. How they kind of bend his eyelids a little bit more. This does look a little robotic with how like perfectly centered the eyes are in the whites of the eyes. But again, that's not a Vietnam issue. It's just a Mack issue in general. So now that we're good on the semi-cabs, let's transition on over to the trailers here. A very important part of being a hauler. Let's get that rubber band off. I love how easy it was to open this, by the way. Like you just unscrew the things at the bottom and it's already perforated, so you can open up the cardboard base and you just cut some tape and you could take them out of the blister. It's super easy. It's a lot easier, I feel like, than it used to be or how some other packages are. But anyways, getting on here with the trailer. Now these are stickers. They are not painted on, so kind of a little bit of a different ball game. But yeah, I mean, I think it looks really good. Looks really crisp here. Rusteze logo there. You can make out all the contingency sponsors perfectly there. Toe cap, shifty drug, revolting, leakless, retread. I think some look a little bit better than others. That toe cap logo looks weird to me. It should be a darker purple. That looks a little washed out. The tank coat and the shiny wax logos. Transberry juice, they look really good. They pop out. No stalling gasket. Mood Springs looks really good down there. Of course, you have Lightning McQueen. And the best part about the Cars 1 hauler, another differentiating factor, is all the lightning coming off of him. It just makes sense, right? I mean, it's his name. Lightning. This looks, I mean, it's just perfect, right? They never did that again. And we'll compare him to this trailer to the other trailers in a moment here. But I think that was a really cool, unique element there. And you got the Lightning McQueen 95 Classic logo here. And then the silver there around the fenders. On the back, a very iconic part that we see multiple times in the movie. Especially, after he leaves the Rust-eze tent. He's trying to emulate the same pose that he's got on the trailer here. Rusteze 4. How is it allowed that you have a different license plate on the trailer that you're pulling than your actual semi-cab? Like, I don't feel like that's illegal, right? Like, if you're pulling something, it needs to have the same license plate as you, right? Maybe I'm just completely off on that, but yeah, I mean, clearly it's different here. Oh, here's an added detail, guys. Check out that. They added a little caution tape. See that white, red there at the bottom? That is a brand new decal that they kind of shifted downward and shortened from what you get here on the Cars 1 version, where it's a part of this whole sticker. Now it's two separate stickers. That's very interesting. I don't know what would be more accurate, to be honest with you, though. And you got the lightning featured there on the back as well. Everything on this side is just flipped. Just a little rotation. And on the roof, you have the singular Rust-eze bumper ornament logo, which looks really good, really classic. I love seeing it all typed out there, the whole script logo. So yeah, I mean, I think it looks fantastic. It looks very similar. Yeah, I mean, I think the decal quality is just, I mean, it's very similar. Yeah, I'm not going to say, honestly, I think the Vietnam version might be better. Like, if we look at the Tanko logos on both here as a comparison, as a little bit of a benchmark, I think it looks better on the Vietnam version. It's a more pristine pink. It's more of a concentrated pink. I think shiny wax is clearer. Toe cap looks horrible here on the Chinese version, if we're being honest. So yeah, I think the decals for the stickers are better on the Vietnam version, so that's a plus. Now let's go inside. All right, so everything's a little stiff, so you gotta be a little more forceful with it. But yeah, I've always liked the simplicity of the Mack haul and the realism actually of it, because with the other Piston Cup haulers, they open from the side. We all know that's not how it actually works. I don't know why they just don't all do it like this, like make it easier on yourself. I don't know, I like that. I'm totally fine with this. I like the textured base there, and you got the little air compressor on the side. Like, it's super simple, it's basic, it's bare bones, but it gets the job done. You can drive McQueen in there, he fits comfortably. You could probably even fit like Luigi or Guido or maybe another Pity in here as well, but I wouldn't recommend that because they would clang off each other and chip each other, which we don't want unless you're in desperate need of storage. I used to put like my extras in my haulers, hide them like this, and I would absolutely have no idea where anything was at that point if I needed an extra or whatnot. So I don't do that anymore. Maybe there still is one out there, but yeah, and then whenever I would pick up the hauler, I'd hear something rattling in the inside of it. So yeah, I don't store extras in my trailers anymore. But yeah, really cool. The Chinese version is exactly the same on the inside there, which actually mine is pretty stiff as well. Can't say I open it up all that much. Yeah. I think it's a brighter red on the plastic here. A little bit of a darker red on the Chinese version. All right. Yeah, this one is really stiff on my Chinese Mack. I feel like it didn't even go in all the way. All right, whatever. Yeah, it definitely clicked a little bit better on the Vietnam version. Oh, well, I think we're good. Okay. Loving it, loving it, loving it. I think they did a nice job with this Vietnam version of Mack. Let's reunite the semis with their trailers now that they have been separated. All right. Let's do a full team Rust-eze group shot here. This is the Vietnam version of, let me just confirm that. Yes, Vietnam version of My Name Is Not Chuck from the 11 pack, as I patiently await to get the Thailand version of this guy so I can review that for you guys. And here we have the Thailand version of Cars 1 McQueen that I just recently reviewed. Got a very nice 3D printed Rust-eze Medicaid bumper ornament can from Jabe's House. Jabe's House has been featured on the channel a bunch lately with the Mater with Viking hat custom that I recently reviewed. That was him, and obviously Clutch Humboldt from December. This is the set of tires that goes with My Name's Not Chuck. Random toolbox over here with the 95. This is a really cool pit stop barrier. Nice retro McQueen logo there. It's crazy we say retro now. It's almost like in sports when logos evolve so much because the teams have been around for decades, like 100 years. Almost feels that way with Rust-eze and McQueen here. I mean, they have been around for a while. And yeah, the branding has evolved. So speaking of the branding, let's see how it truly has evolved by comparing the Cars 1 Mack to the Cars 2 Mack and then the Cars 3 Mack. So here is your Cars 2 version of Mack. The expression, yeah, it just doesn't look as good without the black around the eyeliner or the eyelids, in my opinion. I think the cap like looks decent. They added like some bolts on either side, but I mean, I think the white is just so classic. The roof is the exact same. And then on the side here, very similar. You got the contingency sponsor. They just replaced Cars 1 McQueen for Hudson Horn Piston Cup McQueen, added that decal, changed out this logo, added this little sentence here, Rust-eze proud sponsor of Team McQueen, and removed the lightning and added this big broad stroke of a bolt there. Same idea here on the back. Just kind of swapping out a few things. I like the Cars 2 version of Mack, but it's nothing too wild. It got a lot of hype because it became pretty rare after its initial release until its re-release last year. And then you have your Cars 3 version of Mack here, which I think is pretty good because of the flames, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, just a blank Rust-eze logo on the cap there. Slightly different expression, which I think looks pretty solid. But then, yeah, the side I think looks really nice with the flames behind the logo there. And then, yeah, much darker take here with everything kind of getting redesigned. No contingency sponsors. You have like, opacity lowered Rust-eze logo here, so it fades into the background. The flames just really look good and obviously match McQueen's design in Cars 3. You got the new Piston Cup logo over here. Roof doesn't change at all. And then the back, yeah, you enlarge Lightning McQueen there. Made him look a little less cocky, a little bit smiley, a little more friendly. But I do find it interesting that this Lightning McQueen text has always kind of stayed the same font. And yeah, I think that's a good thing. I feel like it's good to have some consistency while modernizing others. Alright guys, I think that is all we have in this video. I do have actually one more fun little Mack to show you somewhere. Oh, there it is. A factory custom Rusteze Racing Center version of Mack. Just the semi-cab though. The trailer I have, but it makes no sense. It has like a picture of the die-cast Rusteze Racing Center McQueen on it, but this actually kind of makes sense. It looks pretty cool. It's got the correct decals and everything. And teeth. Look at that. Yeah, that is a nightmare-inducing expression. I'm sorry. I really should put that away. All right, guys. Thank you, as always, for watching. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your favorite version of Mack? And you could even pull in versions like the Jocko Flacco version or whatever floats your boat. I mean, technically, there was that Cruz Ramirez version at the end of Cars 3, which they really should have released instead of the just random arbitrary Cruz Ramirez hauler. Maybe like the Pit Crew version here, which is actually super underrated if we're being honest. Canceled in 2010, then came back and re-released or just released in 2015. All right, thanks as always for the support. We'll see you next time. Bye now.